say they dedicated, I don't see the dedication. They wanna say they dedicated, I don't see the dedication. These niggas say they dedicated, I don't see the dedication. They wanna say they dedicated, I don't see the dedication now.
What's really going on with you? What's going on? Why are you trying to hurt yourself? Let's talk for a second, shall we? We're going to touch on every craft, every single craft, and the dangers that we encounter and what we need to do to make sure that you go home to your family. What do we need to do? What are we talking about? Paper trail. We need a paper trail. Let's start from the very beginning. You know, like, Jay, you just jumping into a video? I'm like, yeah, let's get it. Because I'm a little boggled. My camera person holding their arms up because my new setup is a little further and my stands ain't working. None of your business. Stop asking questions. First and foremost, our duty is to go to work, do this slave labor, and then come home eventually. But we want to come home. Let's start with you carriers. Why are you in vehicles that are unsafe? I hear about carriers every day talking about the fumes are so bad that they can't breathe. And I go, just roll the window down, just turn the fan on. The fan's just gonna blow those fumes and you're gonna be sick. And you gotta be, come on now. And then they blame you for driving the vehicle knowing that it was unsafe. So what do you need to do? You need to, there are forms, we're just talking about the carrier. There's forms where you write up a vehicle. And yes, our job is to move the mail, but your number one job is to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Okay, there is a form. I can't remember the name of the form. I want to say it's 1851. It might be. But regardless, when you have to write up your vehicle, write it up. Do not think that you're going to get in trouble because you got a mirror broken and you stepped out there and somebody broke the mirror from the day before, because your tire's flat, because you can't breathe when you get in the vehicle. Don't be driving it like that, okay? Oh, we need the mail done. I need to get home and live. Don't let these managers tell you that you need to do work when the vehicle is unsafe. This goes for the carriers, the rural carriers. This goes for the truck drivers as well. We have bigger problems. We got all type of stuff, but our people know how to handle that because we do our pre-trips inspections. But let's talk about the people that work at the stations. Yo, why y'all trying to push these pieces of equipment if they're broken? Okay? Some idiot, sorry mail handlers, some idiot hooked the piece of equipment up to a tow motor or a forklift, and they yanked it out. Somebody put it on a truck with a forklift, and nobody took the time to say, hey, you know what, the wheel is broken on this. Some of them damage it themselves. A lot of times the forklifts damage it themselves, or it don't push, or the brake is stuck on the BMC. So what do? You get a red tag. What's a red tag? It's orange, but they call it the red tag. Blows my mind. You red tag that piece of equipment when you have to encounter it. And you're a female, if you're a male, see, I'm getting hyped because this stuff is just happening every day. This unsafe work environment. And unless you have to put the stop to it. You have to put the stop to it. I'm going through some stuff right now at my place, but let's get back to the clerks. You trying to push a BMC fully loaded, and you can't push it because the brakes are messed up. It needs to get a red tag. It needs to be put out of service because somebody like me that has to go and tug this thing is heavy, and it won't push on a wood floor inside of a trailer, and it's dragging, or one of the brakes are locked, and I'm walking around in a circle looking stupid. Okay? due diligence. Don't try to push it on to the next person. Ah, man, because you already loaded it but never took the time to push it, and then realize the BMC's brake is locked, or the cage wheel is off, or the GPC doesn't lock all the way. Write it up, write it up, write it up. Take that thing out of service. There are people that can fix it. It gives people employment. And if enough pieces of equipment are broken, they have to get people to fix it. Because if we don't have equipment, the mail don't move. It can move all around the post office at the plant, but it won't move out the building if it don't have equipment. Make sure you write up 1767s, and if you see the piece of equipment the next day, you write it up again, and again, and again, and again, and again, until your fingers turn numb. These people will think that you're a troublemaker. You know what we do? What we say to the people that think you're troublemakers because you're trying to be safe? You throw them up the, you think that they're number one, okay? You think they're number one. Yeah, with the two number ones. Nobody's supposed to put your safety in jeopardy. Suppose you throw your back out while you're pushing one of those. Suppose one of those pieces from a GPC fall out because the piece of equipment isn't working. That thing comes down and it hits you and it chips a bone in your arm. You know how hard it is to get anything from the post office when it comes down to being injured? Ridiculous, ridiculous. One of them things fell. One of the trays on the gate on a GPC fell and hit me right on my calf. I was black and blue for about 2-3 weeks. It was about that. Yeah, it was huge. It was my fault. I wasn't gonna complain about it, but I was the one going to mess with somebody else's work. That's not my job. Make sure you write that up. How about at the stations? How about at the stations? You have equipment all around there, and if something is broken, do not try to alter what you do to make something work. Don't be a jerk and say, oh, I can't do nothing, if it's just like the plug is not plugged in all the way. But if there's some electricity that's messed up on your little lifts that you use when you're sorting your mail, hey, go get a mechanic. Put that thing out of service. Well, we can't throw unless we have that thing working. We got to figure it out. I see people going and playing with electricity. You're not an electrician. Write it up. Write it up. It's an unsafe work condition. There's the, I'd like to say there's 1767s. That's the form. Or you can, I'll find out the name of the forms and put them in the video description. But you have the red tags for the pieces of equipment that don't work. And then you have unsafe work environments. So you have to make sure that you do diligent to make sure that you don't get hurt. And you have to write it up. You're not being a troublemaker by trying to be safe. Because there are older people that work there. Think about this. You put a whole cage together that's full of heavy books, and that thing goes to the plant. And there's a mail handler there, and she's about 2 weeks from retiring, and she has to push that thing down the aisleway. But lo and behold, nobody reported it was missing a wheel. And she goes to push or pull, which she's not supposed to do, and the thing just smashes her. Think about all the consequences by just not writing up a piece of equipment. How about half of you work at stations and your dock plates don't work? What's up with y'all broken dock plates? I gotta physically pick up the lips on dock plates, which is mind-boggling. There are people that get paid big bucks to fix it. But yet we gonna go and we just maneuver it and we work with it. I see people at the plant using straps and they holding the stuff up and they like, all right, okay, let it. And they pushing buttons to make the lips of the dock plates go down. It's mind blowing. We are altering safety in order to make the job work, but at the same time we are putting our own health at risk. I lift the dock plate up, and I'm strong enough, and put it in there inside the truck. But that little lip, that thing's probably about 700 pounds. If that thing decides to fall down, it's gonna rip my fingers off, slice them right off. I'm a fool by doing it too. But it hit me when I was like, oh man, my sister said the same thing about the fumes in the truck, and my daughter saying the fumes in the truck, my son said the fumes in the truck, then my ex-wife talking about the machines ain't working and the computers and all this other stuff. But they trying to do this, oh well, we had to rig something up. Rig what? This is the post office. This is a government job. Write it up, give somebody work to do. Give them mechanics some work to do. Give them contractors work to do. Okay, so then you got the clerks that are being unsafe because they have no choice. Then you got to go over to the plant. The clerks at the plant, they got these huge racks that holds their DPS trays. DPS is the regular mail. You know how paper's heavy. Okay, paper's heavy, and they pushing these things down to get them in the aisle. They have to pick these trays up and then stack them on their machines. And they don't run into too much, but when they have to move those big racks around with that mail, if that rack don't want to move because of the wheels, obviously, somebody throwing a back out, somebody throwing a shoulder out, somebody gonna get hurt. Write it up. Write it up. Take it out of service. Take it out of service, because even if you're strong enough to do it, maybe somebody after you isn't, and they will get hurt. Okay, the forklifts, some people rigging stuff up with the forklifts. One of the forks is bent. Well, let's just make it work. No. Mail handlers, they working with equipment that don't work. No. If enough people start writing this stuff up and writing up the 1767s, which are unsafe work conditions or hazards, things will slowly change. But the key is you need to do diligent on your end to make sure if you see something that's messed up, do not use it. Don't use it. There's cages that I pick up and they've been smashed on the side by forklifts and they bent all in. And how does that even work? You rolling them, they rolling sideways. Come on now. Let's do diligent. Okay? So you have your mail handlers that they physically got to push, pull, move everything. And they're working with equipment. This sparked and stemmed from something that you guys can look this up. A maintenance mechanic went and he had to repair something and his arm got snatched off. He put his arm in a machine, probably his fault, but it was his fault because he didn't get trained properly and he lost his arm. Do you think it's cool to go and accidentally do something and lose your arm? Because it can happen. Suppose you over there and you moving some stuff or you not navigating the right way. Two BMCs coming at each other. Easily 2,000 pounds. That's two cars. And your arm get caught in there because you trying to push something or the wheels ain't stopping or one's going the wrong way. The edge of them things will slice and just tear you apart. Tear you apart. This sounds really gruesome, but it's realistic. Everybody needs to do their part, from mail handlers to processing clerks to distribution clerks to the carriers to the truck drivers. Everybody that interacts with each other at the post office to move that mail needs to give maintenance work to do. We just had that interview with my guy, Mr. Cheese Rat. Give them work to do. Because building mechanics, you ain't got no light to go inside of your trailer, but you over there you don't realize there's a piece of equipment rolling down at you. Some of us live in places that got hills. Something rolling down at you and boom, take you out. One of the guys in my job, his arm, he had to go through, I think he's probably been out over a year and a half because something hit his arm and snatched it and he had to get surgery. All because of unsafe work conditions. Let's not be silly. You guys fill up some of those Gaylords. You know what Gaylords are? Those are the boxes. And they'll fill them up and the magazines will be in there and they're all filled up just because of the machine. And they're filled up on one side and half of it's ripping or half of it's on the thing on the other side. And you're trying to push the forklift, the pallet jack, and you guys are looking silly. The people that work there know what I'm talking about. But it's up to you to figure this out and make this work. Definitely make sure you red tag any and every single piece of equipment that is not working. Tired of grabbing stuff that's broken. Make sure you write up all unsafe work conditions. If you pull up to your plant or your station and the lights are out outside and you a female and you got to go unlock the gate and you worried because you live in the middle of Detroit, unsafe work conditions. Somebody come out there and replace that damn light bulb. Any and everything that's unsafe, report it. JH. Thank you, my camera person. I appreciate you.